Hello everyone and welcome. In this tutorial we will work the Briolette Vest. This pattern and tutorial it's an easy one. We don't have too many shaping and it's easy to customize if you want to adjust the length, adjust the width. It's so easy to do it. So if you want, you can even change the yarn weight or work with some kind of different type of yarn. The one that I used is 100% organic cotton, and we will talk a bit more about the yarn right away. So in this tutorial I will work size small as usual, but you can find a written pattern link and also the link to my shops under the description. So for this tutorial and for this vest I used Fair Cotton Craft 175 by Katia, and for this vest in size small I use almost 2 cakes of yarn. I need to tell you that the adjusting the colors, because it's a variegated yarn, so it will be a bit difficult if you work in a bigger size, because I didn't had too much left. I think I calculated for size extra small, small and medium that you'll have enough yarn in 2 cakes to finish this project. But you'll need to know that the same brand Katia has Fair Cotton, which is a solid color yarn in the same way, the same thread, so everything will be perfect. Another thing that it's important, the brand is listing this yarn as being fingering weight yarn, but I would say that it's more close to a sport weight yarn. So anything between fingering and even decay yarn can be used for this project. Of course, if you're using thinner yarn, it's important to keep the same gauge or to follow the pattern or adjust it according to your gauge. As long as you can work and get to the with a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook and get to the same gauge, you can use some other yarn weight. But I do recommend to keep on the sport weight yarn if you want to have the same drape as mine, because otherwise using a thicker yarn you might not have the same drape on the vest, because this is an important thing when working in crochet, because as looser as are the stitches, then the fabric itself won't be that stiff and will have the drape that you want. So we will use this cotton yarn and a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Other things that you will use will be 2 stitch markers and of course yarn needle to stitch the sides and the scissors. So let's get started. For this pattern, we will use stitch pattern. We will use a multiple of we will need a multiple of 2 plus 1 stitches. Take this into account when you want to adjust the number of stitches, or your tension is different, or you're working with a different weight yarn. Then you will need a multiple of 2 plus 1. For size small, I will chain 82. And then starting with the second stitch, we will single crochet into each stitch, and at the end of this first row we will have 81 stitches, single crochet stitches, so a multiple of 2 plus 1. So now let's single crochet. If you want, you can work the foundation single crochet. If you want to skip the chain phase, the foundation chain, and you can work the foundation single crochet, and this will count as your row number 1. So you will need to have 81 foundation single crochet. For the round 2 and 3, we will chain 1 and turn, and then work single crochet stitches into each stitch across. Okay, I finished the first three rows, and now we're starting to work the chain row. So chain one and work one single crochet into the first stitch, then chain 16, and this can be adjusted as well. So if you want the chain row to be shorter or longer, you can adjust the number of chain stitches, and then go into the next stitch and work one single crochet, and into the next one and work another single crochet. And now we will repeat. So chain 16, and then go into the next stitch and work one single crochet, and into the next one and work one single crochet, and again chain 16, and then one single crochet into the next two stitches, and we will repeat until the end of the row. We finish the row with one single crochet into the last two stitches, and now we will chain 9 and turn. The last stitch, the 9th stitch, will count as a first single crochet, so don't forget on the turning row to make a single crochet into this stitch. And now we will work into each loop, chain loop, we will work 2 single crochet. So basically at the end of this row we will have 80 single crochet only, plus one stitch which will be the chain stitch at the beginning. And we will repeat until the end of the row. Okay, so I finished this row, and now basically we will repeat from row 2 to 5. This was the row number 5. Don't forget about that stitch, the 9th chain stitch that we did at the beginning, that you should work a single crochet on this turning chain, on this turning row. And we will repeat these 5 rows until we will have in total 71 rows. So basically we will finish the back panel with 3 single crochet rows. So this is the back panel, the end of the back panel. Of course, if you want to have a shorter vest, then you can adjust the number of rows. And now we will mark the stitches for the front panel. On this particular size, I had 31 stitches for each front panel. If you adjust the number of the back panel, then you should take into account the same thing for the front panels, that you will need a multiple of 2 plus 1 stitches. When starting working on the front panels, we will first start with the 3 single crochet rows. So we will have here on the shoulder 6 rows in single crochet. And I will work because this is the color change, so we have this multicolored part of the cake, which is this 4 pattern repeats that I have for the sleeve or for the armhole, and I will continue to work both front panels with these 4 pattern repeats for the armhole into this color, because the front panels are narrower together than the entire back panel. Then we will have a bit more of this colored yarn left, because we won't have the middle part of the back panel. So after completing this 4 set of rows on each front panel, then I will put aside the colored yarn, and I will start right with the green color from the cake, working basically from the armpit until the end and until I will finish the length. And we will alternate one pattern repeat on one front panel and one pattern repeat on the other front panel, so the color changing will be similar on both front panels. So let's continue and work, repeat the same pattern for the armhole. Of course, if you're working with a single color yarn, these things doesn't matter. You just continue and working one front panel and then going back to the other one and finish the second front panel. So here are the first four pattern repeats. So now, as I said, I made a small ball of yarn with the colored yarn that was outside the cake, and now I will start with the green color and I will work one pattern repeat on each side to have similar transition of the colors. The colors won't be the same as the back panel, but I didn't mind that. It was too difficult to adjust and change the color to have the same look as for the back panel. And these are the front panels, and now what you need to do next is to stitch the sides up to the armpit, and then we will work we will let the four pattern repeats for the armhole, and then we will work a border, an edge across the front panels and of course the sleeves. Okay, so this is the edge. I started with the right front panel on the right side, rejoin the yarn into the bottom first stitch, and then we will work single crochet stitches across. We are working into the side rows, so every time we're working into a single crochet row, we will work one single crochet per row. When we are working into the chain rows, we will work one single crochet, then into the first stitch, then skip one chain and go further with one single crochet, skip one chain. And this is because the chain stitches are a bit smaller than a single crochet width. So if we will work the same one single crochet into each chain stitch, then our edge might curl and not look as straight as you like. So you can also use a smaller crochet hook size if you see that your tension isn't right, and you can go further with this first row. But if you see that your row is curling, that means that you have maybe too many single crochet stitches, and you can switch for the other two rows that we will work on the edging with a smaller crochet hook, which can be with one size smaller or even with two size smaller. So I got at the shoulder where the back panel meets the front panel, and here only for the first row, and is not mandatory, but for the first row I will work 3 stitches together just to have that inner corner nice and round. For the other two rows that I made for the edging, I didn't do that, only at the first row. But if you want to work more rows on edging, more than 3 that I work, then maybe you'll want to repeat that thing on other rows. And now we will just continue with the edging, and when I will get to the second shoulder corner, I will do the same thing with 3 stitches together. Which one will be the middle stitch? Maybe you might ask. So the first stitch in which we work the first front panel stitch, that will be the middle stitch. Okay, and then we will continue across the other front panel up to the bottom. I didn't work the edge around or next to the bottom of the vest. I just let it like this first because at first I wanted to put some fringe on the bottom, which can be done if you would like. And then because the back panel and front panel are starting or finishing with 3 rows in single crochet, and then that edge will be a bit too thick because it will have 6 rows in single crochet, and I didn't want that. But of course that if you want, you can go in the round and just work the bottom as well in single crochet rows. So now I will just continue working the first row, and then I will chain 1 and turn at the bottom of the left front panel, and I will turn and work 2 more rows in single crochet stitches as well. Okay, so I finished the first row. Now I will chain 1 and turn, and I will work 2 more rows in single crochet. Again, at this row, if you find that it's a bit curly, I don't know how, wavy, I don't know how else to say it, then you can use a smaller crochet hook to make it to make those single crochet stitches smaller, and to straight, to make the edge straight. So let's work the next 2 rows, and this is the edge. So now you can cut the yarn, and the next step will be to work the same 3 single crochet rows edge on the armhole. We will rejoin yarn at the armpit, and we will work the single crochet stitches again across the side rows of the back and front panels, and we will follow the same pattern that worked on the side rows of the front panel. So again, working single crochet stitches into the single crochet side rows, and into the chain rows we will work 1 single crochet, skip 1 chain, 1 single crochet, and we will continue in the round until we will get to the starting point. Try to work the stitches into the chain stitches and not under them, because in this way the edge will look neater. If you find it difficult, you can switch to a smaller hook size. Now that we finished the first round, we will join with the slip stitch into the first single crochet. And of course you can work only on the right side if you want, but I decided to turn just because I wanted to the edge on the sleeves to look the same as on the front panels, but you can work only on the right side if you will find it easier. And we will work also 3 rounds in total for the sleeve edging. And basically after finishing the sleeves, the vest is done. Of course, unless you want to add some other details, like I said, like fringe or maybe a cord to tie it on waist. But basically this was it. Now waving all your ends and block the vest and wear it with pleasure. I hope you will find this tutorial interesting and you will try to make this vest, and of course that I will try to be as consistent as possible and come back here with another tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.